losing sleep, what to do? Could somebody come and take me away? I've been in the deep without you, and I got it in my head night and day. But we are one step closer. We're all in this together. Put your hand in mine. Yeah, we are one step closer. Can you feel it, baby? It's the end of the line. It looks like we made it. Let's get it on. We got it going, moving on the world. It looks like we made it. Let's get it on. We got it going, stand strong. It looks like we. It looks like we. Yeah, it looks like we made it. Let's get it on. We got it going, stand strong. It looks like we made it. Wake me from this dream I've been in. I need to get in closer to you. I swear you might succeed. Oh baby, I've been waiting for you. Now we are one step closer. We're all in this together. Put your hand in mine. Yeah, we are one step closer. Can you feel it, baby? It's the end of the line. It looks like we made it. Let's get it on. We got it going, moving on the world. It looks like we made it. Let's get it on. We got it going, stand strong. It looks like we. It looks like we. Yeah, it looks like we made it. Let's get it on. We got it going, stand strong. It looks like we made it. Yeah, it looks like we. It looks like we. Yeah, it looks like we. It looks like we made it. It looks like we. Oh, it looks like we made it.
Oh, good evening and welcome to Be More Super Live. I'm Brian, your host, along with Dan, the man that can. Mr. Dan Fudge, how are you, my friend?
Are you all right? I'm all right. I'm just tired. You sound like utter.
I have been literally dead as a dodo for the past like 5 days. Obviously, this COVID, cold, flu. I don't get sick that often, but when it does hit me, it hits me like a ton of bricks. We've got Julia Plews. Welcome to the show. If I put my head away from the camera, it's probably because I'm just going to cough. I'm not doing it for sympathy, honestly. So if you was expecting to see the wonderful Jamie King, unfortunately, because of work commitments, she's had to postpone, but she's going to come back next week. So please join us next week for that. So Jamie King will be joining us live next week at 8 o'clock. And then straight after, we've got Prop Store in LA chatting about their latest auction, which is incredible. They've got another C-3PO head from Star Wars that is rumored to potentially fetch over $1 million. So this is a big ticket item. And they've got some really cool Superman pieces as well that I cannot wait to see. I really can't. So we've got Molly as well on as well, saying hi, Brian. Hi, Dan. Hello, Molly. Thank you for joining us. And then Julia's just put there, looking forward to it. I don't know if she means Jamie King or the Prop Store, but I'm sure both are going to be equally as good. I've even got a few sound effects to cheer me up.
Oh God, that's woke me up. That's woke me up.
There
I had
we
a
go.
night
There we
yesterday
go.
in Leicester, big showbiz Leicester. Went to go and watch the football in Leicester. Took me a good 6 hours to get back. And you know when you're driving a bit tired and you're thinking this is borderline dangerous. So you think, well, I'll do. I'm a nightmare for pulling over into a service station, finding a quiet spot, and just getting a 20-minute like power nap. It absolutely changes your life. And when I pulled into the spot, seat straight back, had a lie down. I was at Cobham Services, just out the way. I've only got an hour left, and I left the sat nav on, so I was kind of laid there, fast asleep, and then it went, turn left, and I went, jeez, and I thought I'd fallen asleep driving. I thought, oh my god, and after that, the adrenaline coursing through me got me home another for that last hour.
Do you know what? I have been there because I used to DJ for the SAS in Hereford, and I can say it now because I don't work for them anymore. But I used to work for them for like 6 years. And I remember because Hereford to Nottinghamshire, it's a fair trek, especially when you finish and you pack up and you're in your van for 5 o'clock in the morning and you've been there for over 24 hours awake working. So when you're driving, you're feeling a bit, bit cold. Actually, my heating went in my van, so I was cold. And then I stopped halfway in services to have a kip, and I was behind the wheel, and I fell asleep, and then I actually woke up, and it's a bit like that. I woke up with a jump, thinking I was still driving, and I grabbed the steering wheel, and it was the sickest feeling I've had in my whole life. So anyone out there that is potentially going to be driving and going to be tired, don't do it. It's not worth it. It really isn't. Get enough sleep, get enough rest. But yeah, it's definitely not worth it. So obviously with Jamie not joining us for tonight, there is no, there is plenty of news out there. There is plenty of stuff to talk about because the Super Bowl happened a few nights ago. I didn't watch it. It was the first time in probably 2 decades I didn't watch it because I was so ill. But you watched it, and we're going to talk about some of the trailers and some of the films that have been advertised, which God forbid how much they probably paid for that advertising. It's ridiculous, isn't it like per minute or per second?
It's something like $7 million or something. Because there was one with Kanye West where he bought the advertising space and then didn't film an advert, so it was just him recording himself in the car. It was absolutely insane.
Well, if you got the money,
but yeah, well, in it the Super Bowl itself on Sunday night, I had a few podcasting things to do, so I was talking about football for about 3 hours, and then went, right, lads, that's me. It was about 10:30 at night. I'm going out. See you later. Went out, and we decided to play the Taylor Swift tequila drinking game, which is you could probably guess the rules. I am still hungover from it now. I was in an absolute tangle when by the time I got home. Don't remember much of the fourth quarter, if I'm honest, but not too shabby. Good day out, had by all, and yeah, Monday was a superhuman effort to just stay awake for, if I'm honest.
Don't worry, Julia. We are going to be talking about Halo. So there is a few ones that we're going to speak in length about because there's some great news from Marvel that dropped today that we're going to speak about. But the first thing we're going to speak about is Twister. Because I mean, I'm going to have a look. Actually, I mean, if anyone watching knows when the original Twister came out, and this is obviously the one with Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton, bless his soul. But let me just have a look because this is going to make us feel really old. Because I can remember going to the cinema to watch this, and I'm just going to have a look and see when it actually came out. Oh dear! Take a guess.
What was it?
Take
I had 1997. I think it's that old.
Oh, it's 1 year older. 1996.
Oh,
so I would have just left school when that came out. But that was a groundbreaking movie. Visually, it was just absolutely awe-inspiring. And they've brought out a new one. Molly guessed it right. 1996. they've brought out a new one, and again, the cast is phenomenal. You've got the new Superman, who's to be in Superman Legacy, which is David Corran Sweat. And then you've got Glenn Powell from Maverick, and loads of other great movies. But you know what? I haven't seen the trailer because obviously.
I'll tell you
I
what.
wasn't very...
Hang on. Before you get into that, I mean, where do you sit on these reboots and these relaunches and
I don't like it.
these 30-year apart sequels? Because bear in mind, there's a nostalgic guy inside me that when I'm sat watching, Ghostbusters, for example, right? And I think I've spoke about this on this show before. Like that last 10 minutes of the Ghostbusters third movie, I think it'd be wrong to call it a reboot. Bawling my eyes out. Now, I absolutely loved it because of the age I am and because of, my affinity with the Ghostbusters movie, and there will be a group of people that are excited about Twister, and I completely understand that. But isn't there an element where you sat there thinking, have we not got any new stuff? Can we not have some new material? I don't want the son of somebody taking over the mantle, peddling the same story. Do you know what I mean? However, having said that, Brian, and if I come at it from another perspective, when I saw in, 2008, 2007, when Transformers was coming out, when you first saw that trailer for Transformers, I went, oh my God, that's amazing. Transformers, oh yeah. And then when I realized that it wasn't for people approaching 30, 35, and they'd rebooted it for kids, it kind of annoyed me a little bit. I was like, that's not Optimus, but look at him. He doesn't even turn into a gun. That's rubbish. Like where do you sit with it?
Thing is, I mean, with these remakes now, they are remade for the generation of today. Because the generation of today probably don't realize that there was an original Twister movie, and there was an original. Do you know what I mean? And
I get that, but Twister seems a little bit like this was a great piece of the time. It was a proper mid-90s film, you know what I mean? But it was a sequel that just nobody asked for, and I just feel like it's specifically for blokes in their early 40s. I just feel like
hopefully if that's the case,
it's
going to be great. But I love how they haven't even reimagined the title. Instead of Twister, it's Twisters. So there's more than one. So maybe, but you know what? Let's take a look of the trailer because I haven't seen it yet. So, I'm gonna hold my reservations until we see it, and then we'll compare it to what we remember from the original movie. So here we go.
Dodge whatever's in there. It's big and it's moving fast. Drive. Go. Look out! Guys, you gotta get out of here. Do you hear me? It's Tyler Owens. Calls himself a tornado wrangler. If you feel it, chase it! I said if you feel it, chase it! All right, here we go. Oh, she's perfect!
She's gorgeous.
You thought you could destroy a tornado.
We never had a chance.
You want one? You don't face your fears. You ride them.
We got twins! Twins!
Is that it? Nope.
I was thinking the same. I
Do you
mean,
know
so
what?
essentially,
I was just waiting there to press whichever button. And I've got to say, I am not that impressed. For me, right, the trailer is like a carbon copy of the original movie. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like the driving side by side
yeah.
and you know
The
Glenn
little
being.
nodules to get into the thing. One of them's a tornado rider, the other one's a scientist. It's the same film.
And you can't replace that. I can remember when you know they got the cans and they were making the fins and putting them in there and it fell off and they had to pick them up and then put them back in and hopefully it got taken away. I don't know. Would I spend, because cinemas now are getting really expensive. They're getting really really expensive. So would I pay good money to go and sit and watch this movie? I mean, hopefully we'll get some more trailers nearer to the point because this is like a teaser trailer. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
So it's essentially peddled out the same stuff there, right? And you're like, oh, this is what we expected from a Twister sequel. Okay, there it is. There's the bits. Oh, there's the thing, and oh, there's the thing. I'm telling you, this is a sequel that nobody wanted or asked for. Twister was a good movie. Leave it. Just leave it. Nobody wanted this. Nobody asked for it. Nobody sat there. There's not been a groundswell online of people going, hey, you know what we need a sequel of? Twister.
that is true. That is true. But I know that there is one sequel that we need, or what did Julia just put there? No, I would not. It's just like the old film. It is. It is. I mean, don't get me wrong. The cast in it are really good. You've got Katie O'Brien from the Star Wars sort of TV shows that's going to be in it. Anthony Ramos, I think, is incredible. He's from Hamilton. He was in the last Transformers, you know, Rise of the Beast, and In the Heights, which I think is an incredible film that's on Amazon Prime at the moment. He's literally in everything. And then obviously you've got Daisy, which she's from the UK, so she's representing the UK in the film. But I don't know. Do you think it's just a case of the studios using this money up because you're hearing
To
a
keep
lot
the
of stories?
intellectual property.
Well, yeah, and also, you know, they're panning so many movies at the moment. They've got the Coyote movie that they've panned, and unless someone's going to pay them $70 million, they're going to shelve it and take it as a tax loss. So
Coyote movie, like Wile E. Coyote or Coyote Ugly?
No, why the cartoon character Coyote? You know, the road runner. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they've made the movie, but they don't want to release it. But unless someone gives them 70 million, they won't release it. They will shelve it and use it as a tax
What's that?
loss.
The reason they do that is because they can write it off as tax, and what they will save on write off will actually save them a good couple $100 million on tax, and it also maintains the intellectual property, which I know we're going to talk about it later on, but we that's why Fantastic Four and Spider-Man keep coming round and Batman, because they want to try and keep hold of the rights, because I think they actually expire and they become what's the word? Public domain or something to that effect. I might have made that up, but I'm pretty sure this is why it happens.
That's what's happened with Mickey Mouse, hasn't it? With Steamboat,
Yes.
Which I think is hilarious. Disney being one of the most powerful organizations in the world, losing these rights to one of the biggest things. Yeah, one of the biggest things, which I think's crazy. It really, really is. So for me, I won't be going to the cinema to see it. Maybe when we see more trailers, it might entice me to go. But currently, I'm just a bit disappointed. I was looking forward to it as maybe a sequel. Maybe. I mean, it could be the case. Maybe Daisy's character in it is the daughter of Helen. Hunt
That's exactly who they're going to be. That's exactly who they're going to be, and it's going to be like, oh, I didn't see that coming. Oh, all right. I've just realised. Oh, she's her daughter. Okay. I've just realised I don't really give a shit about that.
Yeah. But the thing is that I feel sorry for certain actors that are in films like this, because, you're always judged by the last piece of work that you do. So, there must be, I mean, when we get these stars on the show for these live shows, I always want to ask, is there certain projects that you wish you never signed up for? Do you know what I mean? Because
Oh, yeah.
you know we
I'll
all
ask
have
it. I'll
jobs.
ask it.
I know you
I'll
will,
ask them all. I'll ask them
but
all.
you know we've all had jobs that we regret in the past. But for them, it's part of their property, you know,
Mhm.
and their IMDb. So yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, it is a hit. Because it looks visually amazing because of obviously technology and visual effects now. I just think's astonishing. But again, are we going to the point where it's more reliant on the visual effects than the actual story? This is why we were talking
Well,
off camera before about independent movies on how
yeah.
they're getting more popular. These are the movies that are shot over 2.5 weeks that you know have got a
Mhm.
budget of 3% of what I think the budget for Twisters is 200 million. So
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. Now, I tell you what as well, like, um, Dan is definitely
he
your man to ask
he
that
will
cheeky
get
question.
into
Yes,
trouble.
that's why I'm here, Julia. That's my entire role. I ask about, breaking the fourth wall question. Did you actually meet the geezer you're in that movie with, and how does that man smell? That's
And
why I'm here.
I've got to say, when I take Dan to places outside, I get him one of those collars that dogs have, them shock collars. So then when he
Yeah, yeah.
starts speaking and he starts saying something, I just press it.
Yeah, I'm like a twister. I just go in, no, I don't care who it is. It's happening. It's happening. But like I tell you what, I did watch a video, Brian, on how movies feel. Right. So if you look at the 80s and you look at the 90s, there is a very much for example, right, the example used in the video was Ghostbusters, and it says
Mm.
that in here you've got these people getting kicked out of funding, them having to get a job. It's during the Reagan administration; they have to get a loan in order to start their business up, and all the rest of it. There's a definite 80s capitalism feel to that movie, especially in the. God, why do I look like I'm a mosaic right now? I don't know what's happening,
You need to
but yeah,
you
there's a
need to
definite feel
wind
to
up
it,
your internet. You need to get the
isn't
hamster
it?
working.
And then there is a good 90s feel to movies that you mentioned off air, like Congo, for example. It's got a
Mm.
good 90s feel to it. But movies over the last 20 years, maybe 25 years, all seem like they're from the same era. And I think it's got a lot to do with the visual effects
Yeah.
that the first 5 or 6 to 10 years of these changes in visual effects that we've had, we were all wowed by them. We all knew where we were the first time we saw that T-Rex come out on Jurassic Park, right? We went, wow, look, we'd never seen anything like that, right? All
I
we
was
saw
at
was
Butlins.
Ray Harryhausen.
I was at Butlins at the Gaiety Theatre when I was a kid, and that's where I watched Jurassic Park for the very first time.
Yeah, yeah,
Which is bizarre.
you can remember it, right? And we're not impressed by it anymore. And sometimes a few duffers came out where they've tried to do stunning visual effects and they've absolutely dropped their ass. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen comes to
Mm.
mind, right?
Mm.
Right. So there's an element there of, I think that's why they all feel the same. And this to me doesn't offer anything new. And there's going to be, there's going to be a protagonist who feels better for the entire experience, and he's going to go, I don't really give a shit about anything. Oh wait, now I do, like every Vince Vaughn movie. And then she's going to be the daughter of Helen Hunt, and we're going to be like, oh yeah, oh god, that's a thing who was in that thing that I liked 30 years ago. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So like, I just feel like they feel the same, and we need, just like you say with independent movies, we need chunky storylines. We need, like, Marvel did it a little bit where the guy wasn't evil just for the sake of being evil. He had a plan and he had a thought process to go through, and we're starting to get a bit more of that creeping in. But this just looks like a really poorly anticipated, a really poorly planned out cash grab. And whose cash are they after? Because it's certainly not the kids, because they don't give a shit.
No, that is true. That is true. And thing is, we are slowly seeing. I mean, a lot of the studios are understanding this because DC, for instance, with James Gunn, I think he's disliked by a lot of people, but he's gone in and said, you know what, it's just not working. They're churning out the same old garbage time and time again. So this is why he's completely gone back to basics and recast certain people. There's certain people that I wish weren't recast, but I'm about the character and what they do with the story. So hopefully, fingers crossed, when these come out, it's going to be a lot better than what we've been presented with
Than the Justice
previously.
League.
Yeah. Hey, don't put the Justice League down. I love that movie. It's got a
The Zack
special
Snyder
place.
one, right?
Yeah, it's got a special place in my heart. If no one's seen it in black and white, they did a black and white edition, and that was extraordinary. It's just so cool to watch. It's less stress on your eyes as well. It's it's just fantastic. But yeah, so Halo.
Yes!
Halo.
Listen. I've got to talk about this, Brian, because right, this is weird, and I'm going to end up pissing off half the audience that are going to be watching this back. But I grew out of computer games, right? I had a Mega Drive. I didn't put it down. I was all over it, and then I was kind of like late teens, early 20s when the first PlayStation came out, right? And I thought it was okay. I just didn't think the games were any good. And then I kind of put it down, didn't pick it up for a number of years. And then I realized that all games are just first-person shooters now, even like problem-solving ones, like what's the like the Lara Croft, the Tomb Raider series. I bought one of those last year, and I was like, and there's still a bit where you're aiming and shooting with the thing, and you're like, oh god, it's not. I've not. So when you told me that we were getting this guy on, like we did with Joseph Morgan last week, and he's on this this computer game adaptation, I was like, oh, have I got to watch that? Like, have I got to watch it? Have I got to? Because I really, right, fine, I'll watch it. And I thought I'll watch a couple of episodes of the first series and get a good bit of knowledge on it. I binged it. I absolutely love this program, and I don't know why, because it's not the type of thing that I normally go for. It's big boys in boots shooting stuff, and I was like, yep, I'm in big boys in boots all day now.
So what I enjoyed about the first season, I've got to say, the second season now. So we've had 2 episodes, and Joseph obviously was on last week, and he was speaking about his character. And I've got to say, literally watching him on screen, it's so magnetic. Do you know what I mean? And I think that he can't do wrong with this character. But I've already seen a difference in tone. The tonality of the second season, it's like it's gone from computer game to now gripping sort of, show.
Political drama, but not in politics. Like, it's really very good.
And you're seeing a lot more of the Spartans and a bit of like the background and sort of, the ins and outs. And episode 3 releases tomorrow, and apparently Joseph was telling me it's his favorite episode.
Right.
To watch. So I'm really looking forward to it. But let's have a teaser of what's in store for for episode.
I have seen your death. It comes soon.
So, have you made any progress with the problem I gave you?
Yes, but it's a complex simulation.
For the crimes of piracy, kidnapping, extortion, and treason.
I know this enemy. It's here. I saw it.
What is it you want from me?
There is a plan in place, but it's going to require some hard choices.
Based on the data available to me, there's a 97% probability.
The thing about war, it never stays where you put it. They're here. Aren't they?
Wow.
They spelled the word greatest wrong. Did you see that? Did you catch that?
Well, this is a trailer that wow. You know what? I will get back to Paramount and say, give us a job. I think
it said fan-made trailer at the end there, but it said great-it. Great-et. And you're like,
Great-it.
all right, smashing. Great-et. But yes.
You know what? With this show, I can't believe it's only, I think it's 10 episodes this season. I'm sure of it. And I don't want it to end. And you know what? Like yourself, you haven't seen season 1. So I envy anyone that hasn't seen the first season yet and they can binge it and enjoy it. But I'm just really looking forward to seeing what's to come, especially with Vanek and the rest of the Spartans. But I just cannot wait, and I'm so glad that actually I've suggested something you actually like, because we're normally the polar opposites. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
What
yeah,
I
yeah.
like, you're like it's trash. It's rubbish.
The characters, the characters are a bit more fleshed out, and I'm still, I'm not all the way through episode 2, or I might be. When did Thingy get arrested? That was shown in the trailer. There was that episode 2.
Yeah. It was the last one.
Okay. Okay, so I'm up to date, and we've still had no real introduction into the leading of the Covenant. You know, like before we knew what their we had no real basis of what what they're trying to achieve and what's happening and where we're going with it. And I kind of like it because the bad guys essentially have fleshed out a lot, because you noticed when you have comic book movies and series where the bad guys essentially is computer generated cartoon with no real thoughts and feelings, and it's just so we can smash through them without any real remorse of pissing off the audience. They did have that a little bit in the first season. Now this one, they aren't just cannon fodder. You know, Master Chief still smashing through everybody, but then they're now a threat, as opposed to before they were just there to get boshed up by the Spartans. Whereas now you're looking at him thinking, Christ, he could get his ass handed to him. Yeah? And I kind of, there's some genuine peril, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, in the games, we see Master Chief as this indestructible character, but I think with him taking his helmet off, we're, I don't know, buying into it more. We're being a lot more invested because we can see the face behind the helmet of John. And then the other characters as well. I just think they've just done a great job. And the first thing I noticed was a change in the suits, because from season 1 to season 2, Master Chief does look a bit smaller compared to what he looked like, in season 1. And same for Vanek. But they are big guys, and anyway, Pablo Schreiber's like 6'3" or whatever.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was quite needless to have Pablo Schreiber being shirtless in the opening scene of episode 1. I felt quite overweight at that moment in time, and I don't think I'm ever going to mentally recover from that, if I'm honest.
What I'm looking forward to, I've seen some press shots of a scuffle with James Ackerson, aka. Morgan and Master Chief, so maybe that's what is to come in season. I keep saying season, in episode 3. So I cannot wait. I cannot wait for that. But you know what? Let's do a sponsor's message for our wonderful sponsors at Prop Store. So next week we've got Live with Prop Store from LA, which I'm really looking forward to. I don't know if it's going to be Megan or if it's going to be Brandon or James, but it's going to be one of the wonderful people there at Prop Store. So remember, 9:00 our time, UK time, 1 p.m. Pacific time next week. But again, Prop Store have been a great sponsor of the show and has supported the show for the past, I think, about 3 years. You're really holding yourself now. And their website... I'm doing really well. Their website, propstore.com, check it out. They've got some amazing stuff. And that's the website that you can go and register and look at the catalogue for this upcoming auction. LA is actually going to start doing... I'm going to keep this going until you pass out. LA is starting to do 3 memorabilia auctions a year now. So we're going to have some real treats throughout the year, as well as the London one in November. I know everyone's going to look like that after the auctions, but they're giving us a wonderful code to give everyone.
What's the code, Brian? Tell them the code, Brian. What's the code, Brian? Tell them the code.
Right, the code I'll tell you in a second, Mr. Fudge. But you get 10% off. 10% off at the buy now section on the
10%,
website.
right?
So
okay.
10% off.
10%.
So
I remember that.
So if something's £1,000, how much would you be saving, Dan?
100 English monies.
That is correct. Well done. You've passed. And then
Thanks,
the code is,
What's the
I'm going
code
to bring
to
it
get
onto the
10% off,
screen.
Brian? Brian, what's the code to get
Um,
10% off, Brian? What's the code, Brian, to get 10% off, Brian? It's Brian 10. Of course it is. Of course that's the code. It's Brian 10.
It's
And the
Brian
boys.
10. There you go. So Brian 10, put that into the website propstore.com to get 10% off the buy now section. It does add up, and it just means that maybe you could afford to get that piece that was just a little bit out of reach, but now with this special code of Brian 10, you can actually get that piece, which is great. You know, I'm going to get it changed to Fudge a Day or something like that. You know, just for you.
Yep.
But then, you know, we've spoken about Twister, we've spoken about Halo. I want to talk about Fantastic Four, because Fantastic Four had Jessica Alba in it. It had Chris Evans, and it was a great movie. I actually quite liked the movie, but again, I see movies in different ways. If you ask me, was it an entertaining movie? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Was it intellectual enough for me? No. Those sort of movies I just like to watch with a bit of popcorn, just chill out and just relax. It's not demanding or taxing on the brain. And visually, it's all right. And obviously, we get to see Doctor Doom and some great characters. Well, they're redoing it. And I'm actually quite excited on what they're doing with it. And I can understand why they're doing it the way that they are. So there was a picture that was sent out today, because obviously it's Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day, Dan. I love you. Jack, my...
What's the code, Brian? What's it?
This is my nephew. He's getting married on Saturday.
Is he? Have you got him a 10% discounted gift for his wedding present, for his registry?
Yeah, it's a voucher that's in the card.
Brian 20 written on a
Brian
piece of
20,
paper.
yeah. But I forgot what I was going to say. But I like what they're doing, and they released a picture today, which is there.
Okay.
Happy Valentine's Day from the Fantastic Four. And what was your thoughts when you saw this today? Because I know that you said that you saw it. I mean, what's your thoughts on it, the casting?
So I'll not lie to you, right? I like Pedro Pascal, but I'm a bit pissed off that it's not Jim Halpert. You know what I mean? I'm a bit annoyed. I'm a bit annoyed it's not Jack Ryan playing Reed Richards. But you know, it's Pedro, right? You know, and because he's a little bit older, I feel like it's going to add a bit more gravitas to the character. However, big fan of Vanessa Kirby. I think she's great, especially in Mission Impossible. She's absolutely magnetic when she comes on the screen. But the bit I'm looking forward to the most is Joseph Quinn, because Eddie Munson was a movement. Eddie Munson from Stranger Things was a movement on the internet, and he was, outstanding character that played this weird outcast that sacrificed himself and all the rest of it. And then you were talking earlier, Brian, about you're defined by some of the roles that you play because they're going on your IMDb. And I really hope that Joseph Quinn was always destined after that Stranger Things piece that he did. I think he was due in a big role, which really makes me feel I really hope this movie doesn't suck. But it's got Pedro in it. It can't suck, right? But I thought I thought The Last of Us was shit. So you know what I mean? I just hope it's not crap. But look at the cast. Look at the cast. It can't be crap, right?
Yeah, and the thing is, my feeling is, right, so we bring this, let me get rid of this picture here for a second, and let's bring out the one that I just had on. This is my predictions. Mm-hmm. Okay, so from this, I think that they're going to go back to old school Fantastic Four. They're going to go back to like the 50s and 60s. That is what it's going to be based around. And it's going to be, you've got to think that Fallout is coming out on TV soon. That's got a bit of that feel to it. And I think that this is going to be proper retro, like 50s or 60s. So I think it's going to be tongue-in-cheek. Do you know what I mean? I think that they're not going to take it too serious. I think they're going to
make it a bit campy.
Yeah, a bit fun. And I completely agree with everything you said. Vanessa Kirby, I think, is fantastic. She's an incredible actress, and Joseph Quinn, well done him. Do you know what I mean? It just shows, being in certain things can catapult you to
Yeah.
certain, and it must have so much. These actors must feel so much pressure signing on for projects like this, because this is something that they'll be forever remembered for. It's like when
Yeah,
someone
and
signs up to be Spider-Man or Superman or a character
yeah.
like this, because there is going to be a time when someone else is going to be recast, and you're going to always be compared to that previous,
Well, this is it, because
character.
I was going to say that Fantastic Four doesn't really get a great write-up in terms of its silver screen history. You know, a lot of people derided the second Fantastic Four movie
Mhm.
with Chris Evans and whatnot. And then that last one that came out, oh God, it blew. I can't, like
You're talking about
I
Rise of the Silver Surfer.
Rise of the Silver Surfer did get derided, right? But the one after, the one with Morpheus in it, it just didn't. It just didn't land, and they got Doctor Doom all wrong, and that's a shame actually, because the guy that played Doctor Doom, if you could swiftly Google his name for me, because I've completely forgot it, he plays the little brother in Dead Man's Shoes. If you've seen that wonderful gritty art house movie, absolutely outstanding. If you get to see that, that's great. And he's in an excellent episode of Black Mirror. And so this was going to be his breakthrough role. This was going to be something that really should have catapulted him into the public psyche. But because that Fantastic Four movie blew, I feel like it's going to be, it has the potential of hindering his career somewhat.
Well, the actor in you're talking about yeah. So obviously we've had Fantastic Four with Chris
The
Evans and all
Welsh
that
fella.
lot, but then they
Yep.
redid it, didn't they? And I've
Yeah.
actually totally forgot about that movie.
Oh,
Totally
so when
forgot
I'm
about it.
saying the one with Morpheus in it, you're thinking, what you on
Yeah,
about?
but that's
The
the
one with
one
Lawrence
with
Fishburne
is
in
it
it?
the one with Michael B. Jordan in it?
Yes.
Yes, yes. So yeah, let me just have a look, because
Did you
I've
genuinely
actually
forget that existed in the world?
yes,
Did you?
yeah.
Because nobody watched it. Nobody watched it. It was like, what, 2017, 2018, and it just absolutely sucked. So they've tried to remake it. They've tried to redo it, and I just hope that because Joseph Quinn's career now is in the balance, just like Doctor Doom in the 2017 remake of Fantastic Four, whose name you're going to give me in about 4 seconds, Brian. But there's a potentially that if it doesn't land, Joseph Quinn could get forgotten about, and he doesn't deserve that. Eddie Munson deserves better. Eddie Munson deserves an absolute career in front of him, because that character he played was outstanding. Go on, Brian. Who is he?
Yes. So this guy, actually, I really love. He was in The Sorcerer's
Yeah.
Apprentice,
Yeah.
which I thought he was great in, and he's in For All Mankind, that is
Yes.
on an Apple TV. It's Toby Cabell.
Cabell. Toby
Yeah.
Cabell.
Yeah.
He's in a great episode of Black Mirror. If you get to just watch, if you have to just watch one of them, watch that one, because I know that they bum people out.
Is that the one where they record everything in the eye? Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's he from? Pontefract.
Pontefract. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
from Yorkshire, and the movie Dead Man's Shoes, where he plays
Sean Meadows.
the younger brother with learning difficulties. He is absolutely incredible. And that movie completely surprised me with the twist end and all the rest of it. And I really wish him well. But that Fantastic Four movie where he played that skeletal version of Doctor Doom, bro, that you should be a megastar now, Toby.
But the thing is, though, with these films, right, they're going to disappoint a hell of a lot of people. There's no getting away from that, because how many comic book fans are out there? There's billions, and the problem is that it's that director's vision, it's that writer's vision, it's the visual effects person. So they're going to not please everyone.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, if you with the Jessica Alba and Chris Evans ones, right? Those couple of movies that they did, had they have not happened, these wouldn't exist that we're getting now. And like you said, right, they were fun, they were colourful, they were bright, there was a lot going on. The Silver Surfer, I thought they absolutely ruined, and I feel like that, that they didn't quite get that character right, because I was a big fan of him. I used to think he was cool, and then they turned him into some weird planet destroyer guy or something. I genuinely can't remember his story arc, but it just kind of ruined it. But that, you have to kind of think they weren't for us, Brian. It's like when they reboot Star Wars and they when they continue Star Wars and they reboot Transformers and things like that. This is for a new audience. It's for a new group of kids. But that one was a little bit too kiddie. I know that there are going to be, I mean, what sort of era are we talking? It was early 2000s, isn't it? So I reckon that there are people now in their early 30s, probably about 10 years younger than us, Brian, that absolutely love those Fantastic Four movies with Jessica Alba in. I bet they loved them because it was for them and their age.
Yeah, I completely agree. And with Star Wars, I actually quite enjoy the majority of the Star Wars shows. I think they're doing a great job, and the fact that the news was just out to say that they're doing a Mandalorian movie, which to say that when the book of Boba Fett came out, that series.
It's the Botox, Jack. It's the Botox, Jack. Just had a comment there from Jack saying, "No way, you guys are in your 40s." I know. It's all filters. Look.
There we go.
Big lights, mate.
Cheeky monkey. Right. So yeah, but the Mandalorian, when the book of Boba Fett came out, it was quite funny because the highest viewed episode from that series was the episode that the Mandalorian was in. Yeah. So it just shows that it's got a great following. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with that. Again, a lot of these studios are taking a step back and actually reevaluating exactly what they need to do for the fans and for themselves financially. So yeah, we're going to look forward to that. But then we've got another one to look forward to, which I've got to say, both of the films that have been out from this guy, Ryan Reynolds, cannot do any wrong by me. I just think
I don't know. We did see Free Guy, and that sucked a lot of dick. So you know what I mean.
Oh, Free Guy was all right.
Oh,
it was
God,
all right.
It was, and again, she's a great example as well. Killing Eve, right? She's a great example where she deserves a big role because Killing Eve, she was electric, and Sandra Oh's character in it, every time she was on screen, just bummed me out. I wanted to see less of her, and I needed more Eve, right? And then so she deserved a big role, she deserved a big chance, and it was Free Bloody Guy, and oh no. And what's she been in since? Not much. In fact, who did she play? She played someone's mum in something, didn't she? Where she got like a brief cameo that I watched last week. Can't remember what that was. Might have been Star Wars.
But the thing is, Hollywood is like is like playing the stock exchange. That's the way I look at it. These studios are like, huh?
Yeah, if your stock's high, you get the big role. Like,
exactly.
If you look at Chris Pratt, right? Chris Pratt is, I tell you, best example I can give you, and I said it on the first episode I was on here, Jeremy Renner. Jeremy Renner plays man. Get me, is that Hollywood? Yeah, I need somebody to play bloke number one. All right, I've got just a guy. It's not Jeremy Renner, is it? Well, of course it is. Sound. All right, you know what I mean? You can imagine those. And like, how his stock is high, I've no idea. But has Jeremy Renner done anything that I've disliked? Not really. No,
to be honest, he was in a series.
Movie was good.
He was in a series with, not a series, a film. I forgot what his name. Something River, and it was based in Canada, and it was really good. It had
Mark
the Scarlet Witch in it as well. So the boat, they're both in it, and it was really good. And Jeremy Renner in that was far from the character he plays in the Marvel movie. He actually acted really, really well, which again, is great to see. But we're talking about obviously Deadpool. Deadpool, yes. I just think is magnificent, and they don't disappoint. They know what works. Literally, their marketing team, are like literally the creme de la creme of Hollywood because they know what works and they've got a great product to work with, which is great.
Let's pull this apart, actually, because we talked about it off air. So Cillian Murphy's been in the press recently talking about doing press junkets is quite an outdated method of promoting a movie. Let's talk about 2016 and when that clip of him on the bridge, the opening scene of Deadpool, just leaked onto the internet and it went hyper mega, hyper stupid, hyper viral. That is how you promote a movie, to the point where a lot of people don't really look back on the second one and think that it was a bit shit.
Yeah.
Do you
But
know what I mean?
but the thing is though, the second one I thought was quite good. But again, it's really hard when you've got a movie that is so good, right? And you make a second one, people are going to always compare it to the first one, and that's the issue. Is that they're always got memories of the first one. For me, it's a continuation. You know, it is, and I quite like them both. But I just like how it just Deadpool takes a mick out the industry. It takes a mick out the studios. He's sort of poking fun at them, and this is sort of allowed. And I just think it's great. But the trailer apparently is doing very, very well. I'm really looking forward to seeing it, and we're going to see it in a second because again, I haven't seen it because it was on the Super Bowl. But I cannot wait because Hugh Jackman is back as Wolverine, and I just hope that. I mean, we've had serious Wolverine. We've had sort of a Wolverine with a sense of humor. And I don't know what type of Wolverine we're going to get this time around. So fingers crossed it's something that we all want and like. But here we go with the trailer for Deadpool.
Happy birthday to you.
All right, okay. It's been a challenging few years, for sure. But I'm happy. That is because of each and every one of you. I'm the luckiest man alive.
Make a wish, buddy.
Wade Wilson?
Who's asking?
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Is that supposed to be scary? Pegging isn't new for me, friendo, but it is for Disney.
Mr. Wilson, you appear to have soiled yourself while unconscious.
I wasn't unconscious. Who are you? Why am I here?
Walk with me. Wade, you are special. This is your chance.
To be a hero among heroes.
I smell what you're stepping in, Sensei. Your little cinematic universe is about to change forever. I'm the Messiah. I am Marvel Jesus.
God, please! Oh my fuck! God, I love this part. Wait!
Don't just stand there, you ape. Give me a hand up. Nope, I'm actually okay. Thank you very much.
That just looks amazing. That is literally amazing. See, I would definitely go to the cinema. I would pay IMAX prices. I would pay, you know. I mean, what's your view on it?
I hope that you know, like all of the Marvel Universe, the DCEU, and everybody, we've descended into this time travel, you know, redo over multiverse kind of thing. We've all gone down that rabbit hole. Every show seems, every movie's now we're doing multiverse. I think that the TVA turning up and you know, that he's clearly fighting a few TVA agents, I think is going to be a lampooning of that. I really hope that the entire punchline of the movie is, look, the geezer's dead because he's dead. We're not just going to go back and go to a different timeline, even though that Wolverine coming back is going to be a different timeline. But every time you see Wolverine over the last, what's it been, 24 years he's played Wolverine now. Do you do you not ever think about, is it Dougray Scott, the guy from Mission
Yeah.
Impossible 2, who turned down the role to go and be in Mission Impossible 2? And he's played that character now very successfully as his Hugh Jackman for a quarter of a century. And he wanted to do Mission Impossible 2. But yeah, there's a few things in that. You know, you've got, is it Matthew Marsden? No, that's the geezer from Coronation Street. Tom from Succession playing Owen Wilson's type of character there in the TVA. There's a very brief shot of Wolverine in a white dinner jacket, and there is an even briefer shot of what can be perceived as another Deadpool. I don't know if you caught that, but there's a scene that's a close up on Deadpool's hand, and it's not Deadpool's glove. And you know, the fanboys on the internet have been going nuts about it, and they think it's the female Deadpool from the comic books with the ponytail that comes out the top. Can't remember her name.
Exactly. Well, thing is, for anyone that's watched Loki, they know the TVA. You know, there's multiple streams of timelines, and you know, different versions of these characters. So, you know, you've got Xavier, that apparently it's going to be Xavier's sister. You know,
That's right. That's it. Yeah.
In one of them. And then apparently the rumors are that Daniel Radcliffe is going to be a different version of Wolverine, the guy in the white suit. So there's lots of buzz. And this is what Deadpool does, which I think is just magnificent. It causes this buzz. It causes this excitement. And I think it's because it's a fun movie. People don't go in there wanting serious Oscar-winning performances. They want to go in there, escape for an hour and a half or 2 hours, and leave feeling entertained. And this is where I think that this film will do that. And I think after this, I think Hugh needs to hang up his claws. Because Logan, for me, I think was a great sort of farewell and
it was
goodbye.
so poetic. It was such a good ending.
Yeah, and I don't know how I feel about him coming back, because it's sort of like, you know, when you see a star and they age within their character, and you get to a certain point. I mean, it's a bit like Harrison Ford and in Indiana Jones. You know, it becomes less believable as they get older that they're doing these stunts, they're doing these jumps and everything like that. I mean, Harrison Ford did pull it off in the last one. I thought that they took that into account. So fingers crossed, you know, the next one that gets churned out, the machine, will be someone else. Maybe the woman in it.
I tell you what, though,
takes it over.
There are a few things that I kind of like. You know, you mentioned it just before we watched the trailer about it breaking the fourth wall and about how meta it is. And there's a couple of things in there. So I don't know if you remember the first X-Men movie. There's a wonderful little gag where they hand out the uniforms and it's just black leather. And one of them turns around to Logan and goes, "What did you expect? Yellow spandex." So for 24 years, we've waited to see Wolverine in yellow spandex. We haven't seen it yet, and I'm really excited about that. Now, the best meta gag. Now, they did it at the end of the first movie in the end of the second movie, we went around killing versions of himself and you know, read the Green Lantern script and all that. Those meta gags are in there. And there's a really subtle one in there that I really like. And it's the one where he talks about where he goes, "I'm Marvel Jesus." And the reason that that's funny is because there's been a lot of chat online, a lot of groundswell from shows just like this talking about that Marvel's losing its way because they've got nobody to pick up this mantle, to be the leader, to be the face of the MCU. You know, we had the tragic passing of Chadwick Boseman, who was going to be, you know, the next guy in charge. We had the Marvel movies that absolutely got ruined by the Marvels. Is that what it was called? God, that was tragic.
No, the Eternals.
No, the Eternals didn't land at all. And then we had the Marvel movie that came out last year with Captain Marvel.
Oh, yeah, that one. It was called Marvels. Yeah.
And that, because that didn't really land and they didn't really give her a decent backstory and an origin story. You know, unfortunately she's not very popular enough to pick up this mantle. And then we've had arrests, we've had big changes in character arcs and stuff like that. Because, for example, you know, we're getting a lot of comments here about how much they loved Loki. Now, Loki as a standalone season is actually very good, but the issue for me is that it absolutely has ruined this character. Like when we first saw Loki, he came out with
Yeah,
his
yeah,
horns and his
but he's coming back. You do know that, don't you?
yeah, I know he's coming back, but the way that character arc has gone has really annoyed me. Watching him running through time and resetting himself and having a tragic conversation with a female version of himself in a posh British accent. I don't want that. I want knobhead Loki with the horns and the staff. Where did he go? You've kind of ruined him. So him saying that he is Marvel Jesus, that's him positioning himself in a rather tongue-in-cheek way to be the new face of the Marvel brand. And that's my TED Talk.
Do you know what though? Loki is coming back in the new Thor movie. So Thor and the Legend of Hercules, which is going to be the new one that's in development and in the works now. And apparently the new Thor movie is going to be darker. It's going to be how the original Thor movie was. Do you know the Thor Ragnarok or whatever was just really over the top, and it was just ridiculous and everything
it was
like
Taika
that.
Waititi getting gags in.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to the new one with Hercules because it's going to go back to how it should be in my eyes. And then Loki apparently is coming back for that. So, I mean, I love Tom. I think he's a great actor. And I think that what they've done with the series is being quite clever. But again, some people aren't going to like it. But it's the majority that do, so they're doing things right. But we'll see. We will see. But
I've just noticed that you've got comments here saying I love Loki, I love the Mandalorian, I love Wolverine's great, I love the Thor movies, and I have slagged them all off all evening. My apologies, Molly, Julia, Jack. Genuinely, really sorry. There's just some bits I like, some things I don't. In order to coin that meme, sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
But thing is, though, that is the great thing about this show. What we do, we're not going to agree on everything. But it's the fact of finding out why you don't like it and why I like it, and letting the people viewing or listening to make their comments, because this is the thing, these films and these shows aren't just made for one person. They're made for the majority of people. So it's sort of throwing that net out, and hopefully the masses will like it. I mean, that Madam Web that's just come out.
I'm excited about that.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
That trailer for me, that trailer was so underwhelming. It was unbelievable. See, look, we're reversing the roles now, Dan. Now I know that's like weird, something, and you like it because the trailer for me was very underwhelming, and apparently the actors actually feel like they've been tricked into signing on for a non-MCU movie. Because it wasn't what they expected, yeah. And even Dakota Johnson, who plays the main character, is concerned about the potential performance at the theatre because it's been given 15% on Rotten Tomatoes. 15%.
But nobody listens to Rotten Tomatoes anymore. It's like when adverts where they go, rated 4.5 on Trustpilot. I have never gone online and gone, oh, what's their Trustpilot rating? I don't really give a shit. I kind of like what I like. You know what I mean? And yeah, you might be right. But what we're getting with Madam Web is an original origin story where we're not all sat there waiting to shoehorn in Spider-Man. We're not waiting to shoehorn in Captain America. It's just going to be a standalone movie like Captain America, the First Avenger, and the original Thor movie. We're not sat waiting on cameos, and I kind of like that because we've kind of forgot where we are. And then on the other side of it as well, I think women are getting a raw deal, to get a bit political for you in a second, and being a middle-aged white man on the internet, I am more than enough qualified to talk about this. But women superheroes are getting a bit of a raw deal because if you go back to Avengers, it might be Age of Ultron, where Scarlett Johansson comes out of a jump jet on a motorbike and chases a Winter Soldier across the city. And when they released that as a toy, they changed it to Captain America, and everybody was up in arms about it. Then,
really?
Yeah. And then afterwards, we got the first Wonder Woman movie, which was incredible, like so very good, and she was captivating in every scene she was in. It was amazing, and then they followed it up with the biggest load of tosh I think I've ever seen in my life. To have this woman who's been, such an amazing character, to then couple her with Kirsten Wiig, who single-handedly managed to
I
ruin
know you love her. I know you've sent her a
Anchorman,
Valentine's card this year.
Anchorman and Zoolander franchises, and then not really give her any kind of bad guy, but she still needs to have a man around her that she's not seen in 30 years. It was just poor. And then they've put the Marvels movie out after not a very good origin story. I really want to see a really solid female superhero, because the Black Panther movie came out far too late, and Flo as her sister, I need more screen time of her. I thought she was excellent. But yeah, we need something to get our teeth into, and a proper origin story like Madam Web. I'm excited about. Again, TED Talk over.
Well, you'll be getting some more Florence Pugh next year, I think. 2025 is when is it Thunderbolts? I think it's called.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's coming out next year because it's been delayed. So everyone was worried that it was going to be cancelled again with all the cancellations for these movies. It's crazy. But do you know what? Thank you for everyone that's watching. I'm just looking at the time. Literally, we thought that, you know what, our guests, postponed. What are we going to talk about? And literally, we shouldn't have anything to worry about, Dan, because
we're going to be all right, mate.
Yeah, we could just yabber on about absolutely anything. But yeah, join us next week for Jamie. Remember, Jamie King is going to be here. Jamie obviously was in Black Summer on Netflix, which if you haven't seen that, watch it. It's an amazing series. She was obviously in the Sin City series 1 and 2, and Bulletproof Monk, which is one of my favorite movies. With Cho Young Fat, I think is an amazing martial artist. So I'm going to make sure I'm not going to ask what does he smell like. I'm going to ask, quite intellectual questions.
I want to know what she smells like, if I'm honest. But that's a separate conversation.
Wow, that's like a lawsuit waiting to happen.
I've just realised I've just spent 10 minutes talking about representation of females in superhero capacity, and then just wanted to know what she smelled like.
Exactly.
I'm in and out, lads. You're gonna have to.
It's like officer and a gentleman here. You being the officer, right? So, but yeah, join us next week, 8:00 for Jamie King. And then 9:00 will be with the guys or girls in LA for Prop Store. And then obviously we've got some great guests lined up coming in the next few weeks. So thank you very much for watching. Look after yourself. Keep safe. Stay super. Remember, hit the subscribe, share, because this is how this show grows, is by you wonderful people watching and sharing and getting involved as well. If you want us to cover any certain subject or talk about anything, let us know on our socials. But thank you very much. Dan, have you got any parting words, my friend?
See you later.